Travels with Dottie here, and it's the 3rd of September 2025 here in Eagle Nest. I have about 10 more days here in Eagle Nest. Not too many more of these beautiful bike rides into the village here, sadly. So the semi-plan is to zoom into the village here. Part of my experience this morning was after I did my positive news video. Those of you who know me know I'm very good friends, even long before YouTube days, for both of us, Deborah Dickinson. And she has a large YouTube following, and I watch her videos every day. In particular, I make sure I watch them first thing, only because she lost her wonderful little dog, Bandit, just last week. So I can see her and hear her and satisfy myself that she's okay. Not that I don't reach out to her, but I know her well. I know that she's in her grieving. She's not going to be talkative, but she is able to do the YouTube video every day and to go into work in her part-time job, which I'm very proud of her for being able to do. I can't imagine how hard that must be. But she reported this morning that I don't even want to repeat what the comment was on her channel, but basically the comment directly blamed her for the death of her dog. And I can't think of anything more cruel someone could do in a comment. And and it crushed her, of course. It would have crushed me. And as a YouTuber, I'm familiar with the occasional, there's comments I don't like that I delete or block people, but they're rarely really incredibly cruel ones. But I have had a few. And I can't say that I've had one as cruel as what happened to Deborah. But with the advent of social media, and I don't want to assign blame for this, but I do want to make an observation that the idea of being cruel has become, I hesitate to say it, but popular. The idea of cruelty has become very mainstream, and especially on social media, people are very open about their absolute cruelty towards others, and it's very sad. But I know that this is the time that we're in, and like all times that we've ever been in, it passes, and this too will pass. I guess cruelty's always been in the world since there've been human beings, but the publicizing of it so brazenly on the internet is something that it's a new experience. And I think one of the explanations for why some people engage in it is it's powerful. You can reach across the world and harm someone emotionally very easily with very little effort. Okay, I'm gonna get up on the sidewalk here. And here we are in the park. And we're going to switch cameras. Well, I see I've changed cameras and I have the view of the little village behind me, which maybe one of the last times this year I'll be sitting here talking to you. I would maybe one more time, I'm not really sure. But I thought I'd read some comments and talk about what comes up for me as a result of the comments. And the first one, and I start with the most recent first and go back. And today, 77 GMC Nut had a comment on my video called Life After RV Life After 70, what my viewers think. I wish Gone with the Wind's all the best. That's a YouTube channel, but I quit watching them because they transitioned to boating because it doesn't appeal to me the way the way RV travel does. And that's understandable. I mean, channels change direction. Gone with the Winds was one of the first real big RV full-timer channels, and they did transition to boating, and they were really serious about it. I mean, they were sailing on a living on a sailboat, traveling the world, literally the world. And I never saw their content, their RV content, so I don't know what that's like to navigate, no pun intended, that transition. But somehow I ran into them. And how's the lighting on this? That do a little bit. So if I tap on my face, maybe it'll do the lighting a little bit better. So I got interested in them. I don't have an interest in buying a boat and sailing the world, but boy, it's pretty fascinating how they've been able to figure that out. And I watch them. They have a video every Sunday, so I don't miss a Sunday. So I like that. There are other channels that I won't mention that I used to watch regularly, and there seemed to be a shift in more than one of them, all kind of at the same time, where they seem to go, how do I say this, more commercial, more ads, more product reviews, more, join my Patreon stuff, more. In addition to the YouTube ads, they have their own ads that they do for money. And it's just kind of a little bit of a turnoff for me. So that kind of transition I wasn't able to handle very well. One that just came through 2 minutes ago, Summer Stardust, pretty fun ride. That's no breakfast sandwich for me. That was today's video. And it was, by the time you see this, it'll be many days ago, but it'll be the last sort of e-bike ride into town before this one. Pretty fun ride, even though you missed the sandwiches. Yeah, I love these breakfast sandwiches at Rocky's Market right down here. But if you go too late in the morning, they're gone. And they were gone. Sunshine on a cool morning is a great mood lifter. Thanks for sharing. I'm enjoying a 7,000-foot campsite in Arizona after a nice rain. Cool sunny morning walkies with my doggy girl. God bless. And that sounds like a really great start to your day, which is what I said. Next. Is another from 77 GMC Nut. We live in South Central Utah, surrounded by the Big Five NPs and other fun places to go. So you must be near Hurricane. I love Hurricane because I'm a big Matt's Off-Road Recovery fan, and I stopped there on a trip once and stayed for a whole week. We have 4 cats at home and 2 corgis that go where we go most times. My wife has non-smokers lung cancer. Oh, so I'm limited to how long we can be out since she has treatments, but we still go. Most recently, we drove to Ohio visiting the presidential libraries of Eisenhower and Abraham Lincoln and part of Route 66. Well, that sounds like a neat trip to me. That's great. My first day working in the museum, someone was watching that video, and Hiker97 says, will you still be working on 913? I'm in Creed now, may very well be passing through around then. I said, as a matter of fact, 913, September 13th is my last day this year at the museum. Let's see. Tony says on my video, my secret tips for frugal RV road life. I wish there were, Tony says, I wish there were cheaper RV parks in the Bay Area. The ongoing rate is $1,100 a month. That's insane. And I did point out to Tony that I agree that's a lot, but it sure beats what the average price for an apartment is in that area. I looked it up. Median in the Bay Area looks like $2,740 a month for rent. And I bet that 1,100 probably includes electricity and that 2,740 doesn't. So if you're an RVer and you have to be in the Bay Area for work, I can't imagine you could do better than $1,100 a month. I bet even, renting a single room in a nice place is probably close to 1,000. So, Jocelyn said, I paid for a 1,000 Trails Adventure membership. I'm doing mostly parks until I at least break even. That will give me time to learn my RV and slowly upgrade my battery and solar system. Then I can start boondocking more. I also slow travel and cook most of my meals. I have no consumer debt, so my monthly expenses are low. I then can save money, but also put money towards excursion. I'm living a more simple life, but it's rewarding. And that sounds like this person is smart and has a really good plan. That is giving them time to learn, building up a cash reserve, building up enough money to research and find out, what do I really need to do boondocking? Once that investment's made, then you can save even more money by boondocking. Gene Moore had a good question. Do RV parks allow living in your car? And my answer to that, unfortunately, was it depends on the RV park. I'm sure some do, some don't. In my travels, I haven't seen all that many people living in their cars, maybe tents. In RV parks, call and ask for sure. Ronald Palmer, this sort of one of my evergreen videos that keeps getting views is 10 things you need to know before coming to Quartzsite. That was a great post. The Ronald Palmer, 3246, it says, that was a great post, very informative. Last year was my first time going to Quartzsite. Thought there was a lot to learn and to get adjusted to. For example, the weather cold, your coat, no coat, getting supplies was a learning curve as well. The discount stores were a good place to start. Roadrunner Coyote, but for me, Walmart would have been my first choice as getting full supplies next time. I'd like to try Outback Pizza since I've already tried the other one. My cell service stopped working. Once I hooked up to Starlink, I didn't have any issues. The wind and dust storms are no joke. I gotta say, I would invest in permanent stock for the winter compared to Buffalo. I'm not sure what that last sentence means, but let me talk about a couple of things he said. The weather, cold, coat, no coat. In Quartzsite, it's so funny. If you're in the sun like this, the sun just really came out here. With my navy blue t-shirt, it's getting really hot. But in Quartzsite, you sit out in the sun, it's really hot. You're in a t-shirt. If you move to the shade, you put on a coat. In the same moment. That's what he means by coat, no coat. Eric on the same video says, Eric D, one more question. How much, is that one more question? Did he have another question? I didn't see his other question. How much space can you take? 40 by 40 by 20 foot fence with plastic fencing to keep dogs in my stuff safe? I've never heard about, in the fine print and the rules, there could be a maximum amount of space you can take but I've never seen it. And I've seen people build pretty big compounds with dog fencing and stuff. And I've never heard about it being a problem. Ron Scheckler says, I typically fill my propane tanks before they're empty. One more thing to be aware of is some places charge a flat rate for a 20-pound propane fill. If you have remaining propane, they still charge you the flat rate. I make it a point to specifically ask, what's your rate per pound? So I've never seen this other than like the places where you trade in your tank, a tank swap. But a place that actually fills your tank, in all my travels, I've never been to a place that didn't, meter how many gallons they put in and charge you for exactly how many gallons are in there. But if they exist, it's a good thing to watch out for. You can get surprised. On 10 things you need to know about Quartzsite, Eric says, how do people feel about dogs in Quartzsite? There are dogs everywhere in Quartzsite, in town, in the desert. The only problem is when people are irresponsible and they let their dogs off leash and run around. That creates a real problem. All right. So this person says, what's depressing is you are bringing in double what I'm getting. That's retired, broke, out of options, why RV life still works. And I probably talked in that video about how much I get in Social Security and the small pensions. So he says I was depressing, you're bringing in double what I'm getting. I can no longer work. I do have a nice RV, but after Medicare and all the basic living expenses, the cost of renting a spot Parker is just too much. How I miss the old days and trying to find the frugal sweet spot. I'm really confused by this comment. Unless he's staying for someplace free right now, like he has a house or an apartment that doesn't cost him anything, I don't see how RV life, finding a spot to park it, could be more money than he's paying for a house or an apartment. It could be they're probably missing information, like they own a house and they don't want to sell it. So they still have to pay the mortgage. But the cost of renting a spot to Parker, any amount can be too much, right? $5 can be too much, but there are plenty of places all over the Southwest where the base rate for a month is between $200 and $300 plus electric, far more than any apartment you're going to find anywhere. So, and also boondocking, moving every 2 weeks for free. So I said to him, I'm going to suggest that you watch the whole video. There are plenty of options for people with very low incomes. And I know people in the lifestyle that I camp with that are they're on Social Security, and it's less than $1,000 a month they're getting. And I think the smallest you can get is like $675 or something like that, something very close to that. So it absolutely can be done. Pete Diaz, this is my viewer from Key West. Key West. I've always wanted to go to Pete. Maybe I'll visit Pete someday in Key West. I'm just curious, where do people work in these very small towns, or are they all retired from somewhere else? Not trying to be funny. I'm just really curious. So you know what? I've had the same curiosity, but a couple of things I've discovered since I've been doing nomad life and traveling. These little towns that you're speaking of are peppered everywhere all over the country. And a very large number of people, large percentage of the population, more than you think, live in these little small towns all across the United States. And you wonder if there's, no real industry, and you go through the downtown and there's, just a small number of retail establishments where they're working. So the answer can be complex. One is, there are people that are retired. Two, there are people that work their own businesses. Also, there are people that may commute a long way to get to their job. These days, a lot of people are able to do online jobs. People do a mixture of things. There's all sorts of answers to that question. And people survive and thrive in these small towns. They really do. Ken Gray says today's dinner is Spam with a sweet spicy sauce from Capital Mambo. Dinner costs $2 today. I'm like, I said, that sounds like a great way to save some money on the road. And he reminded me he has a house. He's not on the road, but still, my channel is about living on the road. And Ken, points out you can eat for $2 in certain meals and have it be delicious. Summer Stardust says, I figured out my savings per month. You know what? I'm going to move because I'm getting really hot. I'm getting hot, hot, hot. I'm going to go into the shade here. So that sun on my back was getting uncomfortable. Summer Stardust 2064 said, I figured out my savings per month living in my RV full time the past 18.5 years amounted to $1,000 monthly. Love the RV as it's like a little portable house. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Um, 10 RV life myths I've busted after 4 years on the road. I did talk about insurance and how you could get full-timer insurance, but I did do a caveat in there. Address can be important for banks and insurance companies. And this guy points out his experience kind of underlines that. He said, Progressive would not insure my truck in Nevada because I basically couldn't prove I had a sticks and bricks home. No utility bills. I also didn't have a job there either. I had to go with another carrier. And that's a thing. They like Progressive or any insurance company generally wants to know, where's the car parked? Where do you park it? Where's home? And if you can't really answer that question, you don't have a home there. And their insurance rates are based on the zip code that you live in. And if you don't really live there, then what they're quoting you isn't valid. What would stop people? Like, they obviously have very high rates in New York City for a car, right? What would stop you from saying, hey, I live in Nevada and give me car insurance in Nevada and then just run back to New York with your car? So it makes a little bit of sense. Which I think is another really good reason to find yourself an affordable home base that you can prove, hey, I dock here a good part of the year, and this is where all my mail comes. This is where my car's part. This is my I travel a lot because I'm retired, but this is where home is. Alpha Pup points out that Taco Bell, and Taco Bell haters, don't bother with your comments. I'll just delete them. I'm not interested. I don't have a strong opinion on Taco Bell or any other fast food place, one way or the other. But Alpha Pup points out Taco Bell has a cheesy bean and rice burrito, which is $1.59 and has 420 calories. Is Taco Bell the most healthy option for your body? Of course it's not. Of course it's not. Neither is Ruth Chris Steakhouse with, a $150 meal. Okay. When things are tough financially and you need to stretch your dollar, I'm not suggesting that anyone go to Taco Bell every day for the beef and bean burrito. Is that what it was? Bean and rice burrito. But it's good to know when you're short, there are alternatives out there to keep the belly filled, because that's the most important thing, right? If you can't eat at all, it's far worse than eating something unhealthy. Ellis Medavoy on this, my secret tips for frugal RV, 20 to 30-year-old RV most likely equals actually quality. for your information. Okay, thank you. As far as small appliances are concerned, you might consider getting a multi-cooker. I got a comfy rice cooker, multi-cooker. It has settings for everything you need. It cooks rice and pasta to perfection. I use it to saute or reheat leftover. Wouldn't live without it now. That's worth looking into. I'm pretty happy with, I have two things. I'd rather have one, good point, but I have the small size Instapot and a very small air fryer. If they were combined into one device, I think that would be great, but they're not. And I've got room for it, so I'm good for now, but I'll keep in mind that. Kathleen Law Victoria says even tent camping can be expensive at campgrounds at $25 a night. That's $750 a month. And I said there's a very simple solution. Don't go there. Don't pay $25 a night for tent camping. There's almost, and she admits, yes, there's almost always a dispersed camping option nearby. In Texas, at Corpus Christi State Park, this is from Cheryl. This is on the same chain of comment. At Texas, at Corpus Christi State Park, you can stay for 7 nights, water only with the Texas Parks Pass. Very affordable. Not many people know about the park. It's only busy on the weekends. Good information. So there are always, my point in this video is there are always options out there. Now I'm worried about my face being too dark. Oh, well. Bob Martins has a really good point. He says, I pay $180 on BLM for the winter and love it. He means the LTVA in Quartzsite. It's $180 still for the whole season, September 15th through April 15th. It's going to go up. You know, they were talking about raising it from $180 to $600. And they didn't do it this year. They'll probably do it next year. It's coming. It's coming, guys. But even $600 for the season is still good. It's still a lot less than you'd pay elsewhere. Solar has gotten so cheap, there's no reason not to get a very basic system. And again, a very good point. They're very simple solar systems. I have people that I camped with that they don't have like the, I have, 700 amp hours of lithium batteries and all the 1,100 watts of solar on the roof and on the ground. And I put in, my own charge controller, and you can do all that in a little box that's all done. They call them solar generators. Bluetti's one of the names that come to mind, but there's several of them, where all you do is plug a solar panel into it, put the solar panel on the ground. And I have people that I've camped with that's the power that they use. They don't need to install everything. And certainly that can be done for under $1,000. Or you can spend $10,000 on a super amazing custom, but they're frugal ways to do it. And you can even do it for way less than $1,000. So don't think that's the floor. That's for a pretty big one, new one, robust one. There are lesser ones that less power, but if you need less power, you can spend less money. How are we doing on time? 23 minutes. Carolina, new subscriber here, and I love the driving videos. New Mexico is amazing. I really enjoy seeing the scenery as well as the RV life tips. Thank you. I still get, and I have zero patience for it now. I do driving videos in several different ways. Sometimes I'll put my action camera on the hood of the car on suction cups. Often I'll use the camera that I use with the bike that does sort of a fisheye view, and it flips back and forth between inside of the car and outside the car. And sometimes I'll do a driving video where I want to talk. I call it a drive and talk, and it's facing me the whole time. And I don't have any patience for people scolding me for doing one or the other and not doing it the way they want it done. And this one comment that I deleted, it was just, I want you to know I stopped watching your videos because I didn't want to see you talking inside the car instead of outside the car. Well, if you feel that strongly about it, that one, you're going to stop watching the videos, and two, you still feel compelled to go on and tell me that, then go, please, I invite you to go watch somebody else. And she used Rusty 78609 as an example where he does driving. You never see him. And I was like, go watch him. I do. I love his videos. And I would never dream of complaining to him on his channel about any decision he makes about how he's filming his videos. Because you know what? If I don't like a video, I don't have to watch it, neither do you. And when we talk about technique and what camera I use and what view I use, please understand that if you have one opinion, there's somebody else that has the opposite opinion. So I try to do a variety. And I do what's, frankly, the easiest and most comfortable most of the time for me. And I'm not in it to earn a living. So I'm going to pretty much default to what's easiest and most comfortable. That's the thing that keeps me prolific in doing a lot of videos. I took a wrong turn in Mora, New Mexico, and I had several people where I asked, there's a little town spelled I called it Ocate, O-C-A-T-E, but I had the feeling that wasn't the right way to pronounce it. So I asked anyone local knows how to pronounce it. And several people graciously schooled me. The one I have up here is Ed Williams. It's Okata. That's how you spell the name of the guy. And another says Ocate, or in New Mexico, Ocata. So I think that's probably, this is on a video where I went to Mora and I needed to take a back way. And I wanted to there's a famous place, Teresa's Tamales in Mora. And I went all the way. It's actually not Mora. It's in a little town called Cleveland. So I went to Cleveland. And even though their hours said they were open, they weren't open. It's owned by a family. So they probably had something come up and, things happen, but I couldn't get the tamale. But I did buy some really neat, really good tamales, about 4 or 5 of them when I got to Las Vegas. Not that Las Vegas, Las Vegas, New Mexico. And 3 of them are still in my freezer. I just remembered that. I did. And I did Google, is it okay to freeze tamales? And the answer was, tamales are excellent candidates for freezing. Here's how you reheat them. And they gave me directions on how to reheat them. I forget what the directions are, but I'll re-look it up when I pull one out. Last question on about Quartzsite. Squirrely 1926. Question about Quartzsite. I'm buying a brand new van. Does not have a black tank. It just says water and gray. Do they still allow you to stay in long-term camping there without a black tank? In La Posa South, for sure. That's the only one of the LTVAs. And their rules, they have a little bit different rules than the other ones. But I do know that it's a pretty solid rule there that you must, if you don't have a black tank, you have to be within 500 feet of a vault toilet. That's the bad news. The good news is there's a lot of vault toilets. You have a lot of options, from parking around one where there's a little community of vans around one, which can have its benefits, automatic community, or you can go to one that has hardly anybody around it. You just have to be 500 feet from it. And, a football field is 300 feet. So, 500 feet. And, no one's going to, if you were 600 feet away, I can't believe a Camp Poster Ranger would wag her finger at that. So that's like essentially 2 football fields. Oh, that's a long way. Think about it. So anyway, that's all the comments I'm going to read today, because we're good on time. We're coming up on 30 minutes of reading them. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. And I'm going to get back on the bike and zoom around a little bit and see if we can find anything interesting. And I'm kind of hungry, so maybe I'll get some lunch. See you in a minute. Oh, I'm going to go out the back of the park here and take a little drive on the outside parts of town here. See what we can see. If the camera's on my face and you saw me looking nervous, yeah, the curbs are so high here that if you're on a bike on the sidewalk and you go off the curb, chances are good you might crash. It's another gorgeous day. I'd say it's 72. And it's 12:18, 12:19. Now, there was a video I had a couple weeks ago where I was out here and I was tempted. I wanted to go out to these houses that were closer to the base of the mountain, and I looked down and I hardly had any juice left. But now I've got some juice, so I think I can make it just fine. Yeah, I can see those houses way out there, base of the mountain. I've never been out there. Here's, we're crossing Golden Eagle Trail. Not to be confused with Golden Eagle RV Park, which is also here in Eagle Nest. It's a big tractor trailer, cargo thing that's got a big sign on it, says welcomes you. It's obviously an old billboard, and the part that describes who's welcoming you to what is long gone, but someone's welcoming me. I can see the road there. It's goes up to the base of the mountain there. We make a right on there. There we are, kind of a washboard road. I wasn't thinking about how bumpy it might be. If I get the speed right, it won't play too much havoc with the camera. I see a for sale sign on here for some land. I don't know whether this is in the village or not, but it's Stacy's got it listed. Stacy Ewing with America West that I did a video on about a month ago. The real estate broker in town. There's another one, another sale, another one of her signs. It's definitely a picturesque place to have a home, for sure, if you can see. Well, guess what, guys? I did it again. This is as far as we're gonna go because I just looked down and I thought I had a full tank of electric, and I don't. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm down lower than I was the last time I tried this. So we're gonna have to turn her around. I'm so sorry. All right. Well, it's pretty much downhill from here to the camp, so I'm in good shape, but I need to remember the next time I do this to plug this sucker in and get it all the way up to full. And I didn't really notice that this was going a steady uphill climb, and that was really draining because I wasn't helping much by pedaling, which I should have done, but I was thinking of stopping for lunch, but I realized it's Wednesday, and Wednesday's not a good day for restaurants being open. Yes, Epic Bites is definitely open. So we can get a smash burger there.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
How's business?
It's been starting slow, but it's been picking up.
Oh, good.
Sure. No, you need some elbow room.
Oh, right. There's a picture of the burger, and it's really good. And there was a guy sitting here just now. I was talking to the owner. He's been having a bear problem. There's been a bear around his place. And it's frustrating for me because I've still never seen a bear in the wild, and he's like calling game and fish and, trying to get rid of a bear. And I just want to see one. But anyway, so as I was sitting there, he had a customer, and the customer said, while we're sitting there, he said, "This is the best." And keep in mind, the customer was about, I'd say 75 years old. He said, he's eating a sandwich, and he says, "This is the best BLT I've ever had in my life." Pretty impressive. So that's Epic Bites. And he says that if things go according to plan, he might be doing breakfast next year as well. So that's something to look forward to for next year. I'm laughing because my pocket's getting hot because my iPhone's in there, and I'm rendering and saving some footage that I've shot today, and it takes a lot of processing power out of the iPhone, so it gets really hot, it gets warm, so it's really hot in my pocket. So I think we'll make it home before the afternoon rains hit. I did get a warning there was a lightning strike 12 miles away, but that's pretty much par for the course, surrounded by all these mountains and all these weather systems moving in and out. It feels like it's a little cooler. The sun's behind the clouds, so it's probably more like, it's probably down to a frigid 68 instead of 72. I see some rain up in the mountain there. we have arrived home. And we'll plug this in so we can make the longer trip the next time we go into town. All right. Well, that'll be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one.